Okay, welcome back to this Woman Wednesday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're at the Question Tequila Studios here in Midtown Manhattan. And now we will officially mix it up. In this cup, I have some unknown items, and you will never know what's in there. But what I can tell you is this. We have Jen Kerns joining us. She's a Republican strategist. She's been on the show many times. She's former spokesperson for the California Republican Party. And on the left, joining us today to mix it up, coming back for a second segment, is Laura Fink. She's the founder and CEO of Rebel Communications. And ladies, I want to thank you for joining us. Frank, in our opening today, gave a very impassioned speech about how he thinks Trump showed very little backbone, and his advisors made him blink on postponing the China tariffs. I don't know that that's everything about the market today, but Jen, let me ask you, this is your party, this is your president. Did he blink and show weakness here?
No, I think Donald Trump is working on the long game here and has been for quite some time. I talk to people who were born and raised in Beijing, who are analysts overseeing China, and they tell me that they believe that the U.S. is going to win this in the end, but it's going to be a delicate tango of some, pushing forward, maybe 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and I think President Trump knows what he's doing here. Look, this is a president who is in an election season, and he said the main reason for pulling back was he wants to allow the U.S. Retail stores to be able to stock up their holiday stocks before moving forward with those tariffs. I think that's smart for a guy who needs to be reelected next year. I think President Trump's doing the right thing here by taking it slowly, not getting into the day-to-day weeds, not paying too much attention to what the market's doing, and just staying the course. And I think we'll win this in the long run.
Well, Laura, we talked about the economy a little early in a recession, but Frank thinks that this caused a lot of uncertainty out there. And as we speak, the Dow Jones is down 620 points. What do you think about, do we blink, or are there other factors related here?
I think there are factors, and I frankly don't think that there's a strategy. So to me, it's not about blinking or not blinking. It's really about this, this wrapping his arms around tariffs as a solution, when in fact it's really precarious to do that. And so you're messing with an economy that right now the U.S. is running record deficits, largely due to the tax increase, the tax cut to billionaires and to large corporations. And now you've got our retailers are responding poorly, even to the walk back of the tariffs, because they're like, you only walked back a couple of those tariffs that you're not going to enforce. That's really not going to have an impact on U.S. consumers. So right now we're working on destabilizing an economy that's connected to countries around the globe. And when those export economies like Germany, like Great Britain, and our own economy are impacted by these policies. And what's really funny to me is you've got folks that would, like Larry Kudlow and Steven Mnuchin, that for their entire lives have never embraced tariffs. And now they're dealing with the president that ideologically they just simply disagree with. So they can see this 3-layer chess game playing out poorly for the president and also for the American economy. And at the end of the day, that means that workers are impacted. And the economy really doesn't care if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, or you're an independent. If your job's impacted, if your 401k and your retirements are impacted, that means bad business, whether it's an election year or not, for Americans.
This may be the early signs, Jen, but lowest unemployment rate in 50 years, lowest African-American unemployment in history since they've been keeping it. 3% growth still, where Barack Obama said we would need a magic one. So I don't know that it's destabilizing anything, right, because he ran on jobs, and the jobs seem to be working.
Right. In fact, add one category to that, women have a historic low unemployment rate right now as well. Every woman who wants a job has a job out there in this economy. And President Trump has created 6 million jobs since taking office. That's pretty significant. You also have to look at, this is the middle of August, a lot of people on vacation, a lot of finance people on vacation, enjoying a life in Capri Italy and south of France. I think let's take another look at this after Labor Day, see what happens when the folks are back at their desks. And again, you look at the geopolitical situation, as Laura just indicated there. I think China's got a huge problem on their hands with the Hong Kong protests. You talk to anyone over there, they say that this is yet another front in the war that China is going to have to fight. This will be a distraction for them that I think does benefit the U.S. in these negotiations.
Laura, I want to ask you about some news yesterday. Ken Cuccinelli made some comments on the Emma Lazarus poem that's on the base of the Statue of Liberty, and he alluded to the fact that what it was referring to were people of classes from Europe who could stand on their own 2 feet. Is this taking it too far to bring the Statue of Liberty into it?
Well, I want to approach this from both my heart and my head. From my head, I just look at this and I say to myself, this does absolutely nothing for the coal miners that are getting laid off in Harlan, Kentucky, or the people that are getting laid off from making Chevys in Lordstown, Ohio. This really does absolutely nothing. So it's a distraction. You know, these immigrant communities are so central to making America what it is and contributing. And, you know, I'm the granddaughter of immigrants. My dad was first generation. So on that side, I saw that they didn't have limits and they didn't expect our family to be perfect when we came here, and we're real proud of that history. And you know, on the other side of things, I've got on my mom's side, my Kutzner side, I've got teachers, and teachers will tell you that the net impact of this is that kids are going to come to school with empty stomachs, because when you say you've got to be perfect or you can't stay here, then what immigrants do is that they don't engage, so they may not be receiving the benefits that would keep their kids' stomachs full when they go to school. That would keep them healthy and at the doctor.
Jen?
And so I think that's really important that as we look at it, because this isn't really doing anything to some of the problems that we see in our country. And in fact, immigrants, they take public benefits at a lower rate than native-born Americans. So this is like a solution.
I have to interject here. This is not asking immigrants to be perfect. In fact, this is a very reasonable solution if you use your head and your heart here. This is very reasonable to suggest, as Donald Trump is, that if you're coming here illegally and you're a non-citizen, you should only be on welfare for 1 year. I think that's a very reasonable solution. You also look at other exemptions the president has enacted here. That is that there will still be care for pregnant women, and there will still be emergency room care, which is what most illegals use anyway. And by the way, Laura, this was passed in 1996 under Bill Clinton. Donald Trump is simply enacting the rules, so it's really a Democrat proposal.
All right, Laura Fink, Jen Kerns mixing it up for us on Liquid Lunch. You heard all sides, and you decide. Take a quick break. We're coming back with more Liquid Lunch after this.